Okay, today we are playing a game on Numbani, we are playing D.Va the entire way through, and we do not know the exact SR for this game because we were queued with people in placements, but it was estimated to be around 1600 SR. So we are also low enough that we don't really care about our team comp, because team comp won't function properly at this SR because people don't know how to play their heroes yet. Congratulations, future me, you don't have to do any video editing. There are some questions in the email, also. Two of them only really make sense to talk about at the end of the game, but one of them does make sense to talk about right now, and that is, can a support carry at all? I feel like I only have really good games when my team around me is half good at least. The short answer is yes, but it's going to be very difficult to carry as a support, and depending on the support you're picking, you have more or less options. So here's the long version, right? The way a team wins in Overwatch is fundamentally about killing the enemy team. Like, the objective is capture the objective. But to capture the objective, you have to kill the enemy team, right? Like, because as long as there is somebody still alive, you cannot capture the objective. So the main goal is kill the enemy team so you can capture the objective. Now, the problem is that supports have limited ways to make that happen, right? And supports, compared to tanks or DPS, have less ways to affect the outcome of the game. Because someone like Genji has a very easy way of affecting the outcome of the game. He kills a fucking lot of people, right? And he has an ultimate that makes it really easy to do that. And since the goal is kill people to capture the objective, Genji's going to have an easier time carrying compared to someone like Mercy, because Mercy has no way to actually kill the enemy team. She doesn't really get to actively contribute to the fight, because she can't shoot and heal at the same time. So it's very difficult to carry as like Mercy, because she just has less ways to affect the state of the game. So Mercy's only way to affect the outcome of the game is make sure her team doesn't die, and damage boost people as effectively as possible. And that's kinda it, right? There are quite a few situations Mercy can get into where there's just nothing she can do, because she doesn't have the tools necessary to affect the situation she's in. Someone like Zenyatta will have an easier time carrying than Mercy will, because Zenyatta has more ways to affect the outcome of the game. Zenyatta gets to heal and actively contribute to the fight at the same time. He gets to increase his team's damage with Discord Orb, and his ultimate negates completely some of the most threatening ultimates in the game, like Dragon Blade and Graviton. So someone like Zenyatta has a much easier time carrying the game than Mercy does. Mercy has easily the hardest time carrying a game. Even someone like Ana has more ways to carry the game, because she can cancel ultimates with her Trank, she can do damage, so she can kill people like Fara and Mercy, who are typically an issue in like lower SR as well when people can't aim. And her ultimate can make it so that other people don't have to work as hard to make things. Like, if you just nano boost Soldier while he's using his ultimate, the Soldier has to try very hard to fuck that up, right? Like, that is basically automatic at that point. So, yes, you can carry as a support. It's always going to be more difficult than carrying as a DPS or a tank. Some would argue a tank is harder to carry as, but they're wrong. So there's that. And some supports will have an easier time carrying compared to other supports. Like, if you're in very, very low SR, I wouldn't recommend picking Mercy, because Mercy is the support that is most dependent on her team being halfway decent. Every other support has more ways to affect the outcome of the game than Mercy does. Because, as well, right, like, Mercy affects the outcome of the game by making sure her team doesn't die. Well, all the other supports also do that, but they have more ways to engage with the game actively than Mercy does. So, if you're very low SR, I don't recommend playing Mercy. If you, like, the ones I would recommend picking is, if you have to pick a main healer, pick Moira. And if you don't have to play a main healer, play Zenyatta. Those are the two that, as far as I'm concerned, have the easiest time carrying the game. So, now that that's out of the way, let's start the game. So we're attacking Numbani first. That's much too loud. So, we are queued with two other people, so there's some talking going on in the background at times. So, which way are we gonna go? We're gonna go this way. I fucking hate going this way. It's such a terrible time to get out this doorway. Now, Moira did almost throw the game, like, right there, but unfortunately, she slipped away because Fade is a really good ability. She shouldn't have been that far up, but hey, she was. So, unsurprisingly, for a relatively low SR, well, I mean, a relatively low SR, it is a low SR game, there's a Bastion here. This is just how it is often. Now, Roadhog was not allowed to do that. That's not okay. He's just like, let's fucking go. I'm gonna walk around the shield and hook him. Oh, fuck, right, he can, like, rotate his shield. Oh, God, what was I thinking? So now we're trying to kill Bastion. Bastion could have just, like, hunkered down and killed us, like, right there, but he instead decided to move away. Now, this is not gonna work. We shouldn't be doing this, because we're just gonna lose our mech and die, because we're already 154 health, and then we're like, yeah, let's chase the Bastion who's getting, like, ultra healed by his team. We shouldn't do that. Now, it goes so much better than like, holy shit. This is the swindle of the century to get away with this one. In the middle of the fuck corridor, as baby D.Va, and we get away with our lives, and we killed Bastion. Bastion was probably going to die regardless. Although we can see here that the enemy team is having a bit of trouble with this Fara situation. Tends to be how it is in low SR. We should not have done what we did, but we got away with it, so we didn't get punished, and therefore, we don't have to learn, because that's how it works. I would know. I've pushed the shift key a great many times as Reinhardt, and I've never once had to learn a lesson. It's incredible. So we're still sort of going in. Bastion's in the middle of the street, all by his lonesome. Yeah, we're gonna go over there and try and fuck him up. We didn't even have to get to him. He was dead long before we arrived. There are people holed up in this corridor. We very much want them dead. Winston's left McCree behind. Just go in there and get the McCree. Like, there's... Even if he takes you out of Mech, that's not the end of the world, because you can get another Mech, right? Like, killing the McCree right there makes it so much easier for us to push to the objective, because now he's mad staggered compared to the rest of his team, and Numbani's second checkpoint is like what is the worst map in the game to have to walk all the way back from, because it is legitimately, if you have no mobility, it's like 20-30 seconds to get back to the objective on the defending side. It's terrible. And McCree's got no mobility. So, even if you lose your mech, it's worth it right there. So we push tab right here, and we see their team comp has just gotten significantly worse because they no longer have any tanks. Now we have seen Widowmaker and Junkrat. So, those are the people we want to kill. We are the one dive hero on our team right now, so we basically have to, like, make sure we're actively looking for the Widowmaker and trying to kill her, because it's our job to kill the Widowmaker on our team. And then Junkrat is the secondary one after that, because D.Va is quite good at killing Junkrat. So I just heard Deadeye? He has to be, like, in their spawn still. Like, he can't be... Where the fuck was he? Where did he get to? Because he didn't die that long ago. Right? I mean, I guess I pushed back a few times. Never mind. I guess it has been that long. It didn't feel like it was like 20 seconds. But I mean, 20 seconds isn't a very long period of time, I guess. Where the fuck was he? I guess he's like behind us. He must have gone like through the building on the left. Whatever. Anyway, we're diving Widow. That's what we're doing right now. Good. What a shambles of an operation we run. It's fine. So, we're taking a while to kill this Widow. Use the rockets. Use the rockets. Yep. We've let the Widow get away. She should not have gotten away with that. Like, you can boost onto her right now. Like, you don't have to be afraid either, because there's nobody here. Look, they're going to the point right underneath us right now. She's all by her lonesome. Just, like, use the rockets sooner. Like, the rockets are for killing people, so just use them to make sure you kill the person. You can just shift, like, right onto her. There's no reason to be afraid. Alright? There's no reason to be afraid. There's nobody there to help her, so there's nothing to be afraid of, and then you just get back out again. So Zenyatta shouldn't be doing that. Like, this is the thing with D.Va as well, right? You gotta remember, D.Va's really good at punishing people who are out of position, because D.Va does a lot of burst damage, right? Because you shift up to somebody, and just like shift and melee when you arrive on the person is 75 damage. That's almost half of a hero's health. But while you're flying at them, you're still shooting and firing your rockets. So you just, like, float at somebody who's out of position, shooting at them, bump into him, then punch him after you bump into him. You probably fucking killed him if he was 200 health and nobody was there to help him. So if you see a Zenyatta out of position like that, just fucking jump on his face. D.Va is really good at punishing people who are out of position because she does a very big spike of damage when she gets on somebody immediately. So if somebody's out of position, do not be afraid to just, like, go on them. So Moira's doing that, but, like, she's the only one alive on her team. I guess Junkrat was alive, but... So she hasn't gotten much out of that. So Bastion's using tank right now. We don't know where he is. There he is. He didn't exactly get much done with that tank. Now, their team comp was terrible because they had no tank, and this guy was still playing Bastion while they had no tank. So, unsurprisingly, it didn't go super well for them. But this is the benefit of Overwatch. It doesn't matter how bad your team is, the enemy team can always be worse. Doesn't matter. No, my team is literally the worst. No, trust me. The enemy team can still be worse. Unless your team has, like, the objective worst player in existence on it, but such a cryptid is very difficult to even conceive of. So anyway, we're defending now. We got there with 4 minutes and 47 seconds to spare. Enemy team is mad tilted right now. And you know they were they were e-bullying each other. They were like, we've got no fucking tank, Bastion change, Widow change, blah, 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 blah. You know how it is with people. Like, they are super tilted right now. Tragically, our Hanzo is apparently worse. So, or the other Hanzo was better at rolling dice. We've also lost Zenyatta, but we've just killed their Zenyatta. Again, this boy is out of position. He's all out here by his lonesome. Go on him. Just, like, get him. Like, granted, we haven't seen, like, the entire enemy team right now, but, like, this Zenyatta is, like, halfway up the street and nobody's in front of him. He is out of position. Go in there and fucking just kill that boy. Now, tragically, our whole team are dead. So, even though we're alive, we're gonna lose the fight. It's just how it is. 4 of our team are dead, only 1 of them is dead. You're gonna lose the fight, and there's nothing you can do about that one. We never even, like, saw most of any of the deaths happen, really. So, it is possible to make no mistakes and still lose. This is an important thing to remember with, like, anything, really. I was gonna say any competitive game. It's like with life. It is possible to make no mistakes and still lose. So, enemy team, mad scattered right now. Go in on this boy. Just, like, fucking kill him. Roadhog left that guy behind. Like, they were already out of position to be in here just by themselves. Roadhog leaves this guy behind. Just, like, go in on him. Junkrat can't do anything to stop you. Fucking, you got 600 health. Junkrat's gonna have to try real hard to kill a D.Va at full health before the D.Va kills him. So, oh, fucking, that was an incredible sight right there. Let's go back. Hanzo throws his skill in, and then Zarya's like, boop, got him. So now we just get to, like, bully these people to death, essentially, and there's not very much they can do about it. Again, just, like, go in on them. Like, just, like, shift up rockets, punch them when you arrive. D.Va does a really big burst of damage when she uses her abilities. Like, don't be afraid to just, like, go in on someone. D.Va's a really aggressive tank because of, like, she was this way where she was, like, basically a shield tank when Defense Matrix was better, but they nerfed that and then put the missiles on her, and that made her a lot more aggressive. To me, D.Va's more aggressive than Winston is, because D.Va, like, Winston is a disruption, yeah, but, like, Winston, his goal is to disrupt. It's like, if he kills somebody, that's a bonus, as far as Winston is concerned, typically. D.Va actually is trying to kill people at all times. Like, if someone's out of position, or by themselves, well, if they're by themselves, they're probably out of position. If somebody's on high ground, like, they're probably the most out of their way if they're on high ground. Just, like, go up there. All your abilities. Fucking kill them. Just the shift in the melee. Like, the shift melee is basically impossible to miss, because your whole body is the projectile, and then you punch them. That's 75 damage. That's a lot of damage. If you've only got 200 health. If you're a tank, you don't care so much about 75 damage, but everybody else is going to really care about it. So, like, their Moira is, like, behind us right now. I'm content to leave her back there, because she's their team's main healer, and she's behind our team right now. So, like, honestly, I'm alright with just leaving her back there. Moira players do this quite frequently, where they end up on, like, the wrong side of the enemy team. If the Moira is the main healer, like, Moira isn't a huge threat to kill your team, right? Like, Moira doesn't do a lot of damage very quickly. You can just leave her back there, and then the enemy team is playing without their main healer, which is really, really terrible. And yeah, she's behind you. That's annoying. If Moira flanking is killing your team, you got bigger problems. Like, you can usually just leave her back there and bully the enemy team, because now they don't have their main healer. Moira players are very prone to being bad. So they now have a Torbjorn. Very exciting. They have a Mei as well, which is upsetting to us as D.Va, because Mei makes it very difficult to play D.Va. But, also, that's assuming the Mei's paying attention. They are in silver. So, it might not even matter in the end. So we kind of just, like, get to walk into them right now, because nobody on the front line was threatening enough to kill us. Oh no, there's a Bastion there now. So, alright, we want to defense matrix that boy. Fair enough. He just used it. Back up. Back up. Don't keep walking into the Bastion. Because your defense matrix, no, it ain't gonna save you from that one. You die regardless. Like, you don't get away, but, like, don't keep walking into the Bastion after that. You block the Deadeye? Alright, that's great. We blocked Deadeye. You can't keep walking into the Bastion when you're, like, low health and have no defense matrix. So, they've now got some momentum going, but their team comp is still really, really bad. And we still have fucking almost 5 minutes on our side of the map anyway, so on our attack round, I should say. Our side of the map varies on our attacking round. Now, this is still the street phase on Numbani, so we're not really expecting to defend this point regardless, because it is exceptionally difficult to defend the street phase on Numbani. It's gotta be, like, the objective. It's gotta be the checkpoint that has the least games decided on it out of all of them. Like, it has to be. What would be the next closest? Probably King's Row street phase? Like, the game does get decided on that checkpoint a reasonable amount, but I still feel like that's where I see the least games decided is, like, Numbani street phase and King's Row. Numbani's is just like, no, you don't expect to defend it. Like, you lose one fight on the street phase on Numbani, you probably don't even get back in time to contest the objective again, because the walk back is so long. This is the issue with, like, all Overwatch maps, really. Blizzard has no fucking idea where to put the spawn. Like, the spawn is always terrible. All of the 2CP first checkpoints are, like, difficult to defend because the defender's spawn is infinity miles away. That's the actual number, by the way, infinity miles. And then all the second checkpoints are really difficult to capture because the spawn is right fucking there. The exception is Volskaya. Volskaya's spawn is reasonably far enough away that that doesn't always happen. But as a consequence of that, I also feel like Volskaya is the map where I am most likely to end up going, like, 6 and 8. You know, something like that. Anyway, we're on Numbani right now. I fucking hate map design. Like, oh, that'll turn into a whole thing. Blizzard is so bad at designing maps. Oh my god. To be fair, Oasis is okay, and Disney World is okay. Every other map they've added has been trash. Like, Horizon, actually awful. Junkrat, probably the worst map in the game. It's incredible. Horizon is really close to being the worst map in the game, though. Like, Horizon and Junkrat, fucking awful maps. And we got them back to back, so that's very exciting. That was very fun. So, they've captured the second checkpoint. Meh. We're now trying to bully this boy. Tragically, Mei is on the enemy team. Now, we do have self-destruct. Unfortunately, that's happening outside the door. Now, we don't want to be fighting this far up, really, in general. Like, alright, we want Bastion dead. I understand. Mei is standing right next to him, and Bastion is kinda hard to kill, because he actually has a lot of hit points, and he can repair himself. So, it's actually difficult for us to, like, burst Bastion to death because of this. And Mei's right there, who's gonna make it difficult. We don't really want to be fighting this far up. Like, that just barely squeaked through to kill us, which is upsetting, but we don't really want to be fighting all the way out here, and that's not a good target to try and jump on, because he's hard to burst to death, and Mei's right there. Mei makes it really difficult to play D.Va, because Mei just freezes you when you're trying to dive on someone. Now, granted, if the Mei is bad, half the time she'll let you get away with it anyway, but any play that revolves around the enemy team being bad is itself a bad play, so we still shouldn't do it. So Moira's doing this, whatever, frankly. Low SR Moira players are really bad at using Coalescence well, and that was a very bad use of Coalescence. So again, we're diving on Bastion. Again, we don't want to be that far out, really, because we're getting really close to just, like, fighting in their spawn, and Mei is right there, who's going to make it difficult for us. Now, this is tragic regardless, of course, because we've just been frozen in the blizzard. But we were behind the payload, so we didn't actually die anyway. Hooray! And now we lose our mech. It's alright. Don't keep walking in. Don't keep walking in. Very common issue with D.Va players. They keep walking in when they're baby D.Va. Don't do that. Here's how you should view losing your mech, right? So, when you lose your mech, you effectively have died, because baby D.Va, very easy to kill, no abilities. She does, like, sometimes she ends up doing more damage in baby D.Va form, but you have effectively died when you've lost your mech, because you're no longer really playing D.Va anymore. Now, if you get your mech back quickly enough, you have effectively respawned faster. Because here's the thing with dying in Overwatch, right? Bare minimum, it takes you 10 seconds to respawn, right? So, if you can get your mech back in 10 seconds, you've already saved time, because it's 10 seconds plus however long it takes you to get back to the fight, which varies depending on the map. But if you get your mech back in, like, 10 seconds-ish, you have saved time on respawning, despite dying. Whereas if you walk around as baby D.Va for, like, 8 seconds, and then die, you have added 8 seconds to your respawn time. D.Va has, like, this built-in mechanic where she can end up staggering herself. So when you're playing baby D.Va, don't, like, go in. Back way the fuck up and just try to hit people to generate ult charge. You're not even necessarily trying to kill people anymore. Like, if you can, that's great. But really, you just want to aim at, like, people who are easy to hit so you can get your mech back really quickly. Because it doesn't take long to build up call mech as long as you land shots. So, if you lose your mech, don't go in, back, like, way the fuck up and just try to get your mech back quickly, because then, get your mech back, you've respawned in, like, 7 seconds or something like that. You've saved so much time. And not dying is very important in Overwatch, because when you're dead, you can't do anything to affect the outcome of the game. Being alive, anything that can go well for you comes as a result of being alive, so not dying is quite important. So, they've gained momentum again, and, the thing is with, like, these kinds of, Bastion situations is, yeah, I mean, your team kind of needs to put in some effort to actually slow them down, and, it usually takes coordination to kill Bastion, but as we can see, we now have a Torbjorn. So our team is super invested in coordinating right now. So we're changing to Mei to come back out here to stall. Honestly, staying on D.Va is better because you actually have to be able to get back there in time, right? Mei's better for stalling if if you think your team will survive long enough for you to get back, or if the spawn is really close. Like on a 2CP map, second checkpoint, spawn's right there. Mei will get back in no time. Somewhere like Numbani, D.Va ends up being a better option to stall in most situations because you have to actually get back, and it's a reasonable walk on Numbani to get to the objective there. Though, but let's be real, in that kind of situation, you're probably not gonna do it anyway. But, if you have to... Mei is only good at stalling if she can get there. In a situation like that, I'm more concerned with actually arriving than anything else. Just like the one situation Doomfist's good in. He can travel across the maps very, very, very fast. Because all of his abilities are movement abilities. And that's it. That's it, actually. So that's our Fara. No, they have a Fara as well. Now, a Fara is a figure of interest to us as D.Va, because D.Va is one of the heroes that's good at dealing with Fara. Again, mostly because you fly up into the person, the body, your projectile is your body, so it's very easy to hit the Fara. And you don't have to kill the Fara necessarily. You're just trying to, like, harass her and drop her low, so she has to play passively. Or if you have a DPS that actually, you know, can try and kill Farah, you doing this essentially, like, guaranteed half of Farah's health might be enough for, like, the McCree to kill her off, finish her off, right? And also, Defense Matrix fucks up Farah really badly, as we all know. So, Farah is a figure of interest to us as D.Va. Junkrat, also a figure of interest, because we can kill him pretty good. We don't have to be afraid of him right now because he can't kill us quickly enough. Like, it's just not feasible. Because he's already picked up the health kit and we're still full health at that point. Like, we're gonna kill the Junkrat. You as D.Va, if you're fighting a Junkrat and you're full health, you have to fuck up pretty badly for the Junkrat to actually kill you. It happens. Certainly. I've seen D.Vas who are full health get killed by Junkrat, but it's difficult. Junkrat... He's good at killing, killing a squishy target really fast, but 600 health with another 150 underneath that is rather difficult for him to get through. Similarly, like, Farah isn't very good at killing tanks, because, yeah, she does, like, a lot of burst damage. Burst damage doesn't tend to be good against killing tanks, usually. 'Cause this is just this way where if you have, like, a lot of health, bursting off, like, 150 isn't very much of a big deal if you have 600 health, whereas, consistently doing, like, what does Soldier do? DPS-wise? It's something like, 80 per second. That ends up being more... That doesn't sound right. Whatever. Consistent DPS is better at killing tanks than burst damage is. So Junkrat has, trouble killing a D.Va. Now, this situation, we shouldn't be advancing into. McCree's here with him. McCree does beat D.Va pretty soundly, because in Mech, your head hitbox is fucking huge. So if it's someone like McCree, they don't have much trouble just like pop, 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 pop. McCree's got to shoot you in the head 3 times, 4 times to take you out of Mech. Like, honestly, it's harder to not headshot D.Va if she's looking at you. And then after you come out of the Mech, flashbang kills you. So, that's not the kind of situation where we want to be walking into it. Oh, Junkrat fucked that one up. We saw it all. That's not the kind of situation you want to advance into, because McCree makes it very difficult for D.Va. And he has crowd control as well, so... McCree can actually fuck up your burst damage, because you start flying into them with the rockets going. Flashbang interrupts both of those things, so that ends up fucking you up as well. McCree is kind of a scary one for D.Va, but also, like, if you block the flashbang, he's probably dead. So, it's, D.Va's kind of that way, where, like, if you block the important thing, it's very hard for them to win the fight anymore. Like, Junkrat is the mine, you know. So we're in a really bad spot right now. Here comes the tire. We managed to not die to the tire. Well, we didn't lose our mech to the tire. It's not looking good. Now, Farah did just kill 2 of their DPS, but they have like 7 of them, so it's not the end of the world that they lost 2 DPS. Roadhog's trying to use his ult. We eat as much of it as we can, but Defense Matrix does not last long enough to eat all of it. Boost back to the large health kit. Just, like, try and get back. Like, you're gonna lose your mech regardless, probably, but, like, just try and boost over to the large health kit, or just, like, boost away, because you lose your mech, like, right there, you're gonna die, because to get to safety, you have to walk so far away, there's, like, no way that you get out of it. So just try and fly away. In that situation, you most likely don't get away, but just staying there for that long, you definitely don't get away. And, like, a 1% chance is better than no % chance. So, the difficult thing that happens in this situation is, your team sees they're in overtime. So they start doing shit like this, right? Fuck, we're in overtime, we gotta go, 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 go. So then 2 people run into 6 people and they die. And then you end up being staggered the entire time. And that's how people end up pushing all the way to the end of the track, even though they were in overtime at the very, very start. Zarya, play of the fucking game, though. Did you see that shit? Let's go back and watch it again, because there's no way the Blizzard algorithm detects that as play of the game, this is play of the game. She just, like, pulled them off of it, and that's the entire reason this went okay. It's quite surprising it stopped right there, honestly. It hit somebody, I guess, so... They're upset about that one, probably. They got a lot further than they had any right to, but we still have nearly 5 fucking minutes to push, so we're not super concerned about it. And as well, it's the street phase on Numbani. As long as we capture the first checkpoint, we're probably good, because that's just how the map functions, you know. You know, here's May. Playing May. We've been inconvenienced for 6 seconds. It's alright. We got 5 minutes still. We got more time than you have to usually take the first objective, so... So we're going up here again. I still hate going this way, because it turns into a fuck corridor real easy, but they're not up here. So we get to just kind of walk out on here, because they're down there. And I mean, Numbani is this way. If you can get control of this balcony, it tends to get a lot easier, and they're not interested in holding it. Because Bastion's just sitting on the point over there again. They're doing the exact same thing they did last time. We don't really want to wake Bastion up right now. Like, he gets tranked right there. Just stop. Just, like, don't even go in on him anymore, because we want this boy asleep as long as possible. Like, we as D.Va are gonna have trouble bursting him to death. If we can just leave Bastion asleep for 6 seconds, we can win the team fight around him. It ended up not mattering, but in that situation, you don't want to wake Bastion. Just, like, leave him asleep. If you just leave him asleep for 6 seconds, you'll win it around him. Because that's the thing as well, if the enemy team has a Bastion on it, they're probably, like, pretty in on Bastion carrying them, right? Because that's how the Bastion comp works. They have to keep Bastion alive. If he's asleep, you can win around him. And we can't burst him to death. If you're playing someone like, you know, Reinhardt, you walk up and pin him. Easy money. But, D.Va doesn't end up... Like, he's still hard to burst to death anyway. And we don't want to wake him up. So here comes, the enemy team. But the Genji just, like, dashed through us. We should be interested in that behind us, because we don't want Genji to kill our backline. He didn't. He died regardless. But we should be interested in that. Like, yeah, we don't counter Genji as well as Winston does, but we still have an obligation to try and keep our backline alive, because we're playing a tank. Keeping your team alive is still the most important part of playing your role, right? It's like if you're playing a healer, your number one priority is healing people and then doing damage. If you're playing a tank, your number one priority is protecting your team and then doing damage, even if you're playing an aggressive tank like Winston or D.Va. Because it doesn't matter how much pressure you are applying or how much space you are creating. If your team dies behind you, they can't take advantage of it. So it doesn't matter. Don't just sit in the Blizzard like you're in the Blizzard. Get out of the Blizzard, because you don't want to be frozen looking at their team like this. And okay, you don't die. Don't forget, though, they are still generating ult charge from hitting you the entire time. D.Va's one of those heroes that can end up being an ult battery for the enemy team, so you have to be careful about not taking all this unnecessary damage. So, Fara got behind them and ulted. She just killed Orisa and Bastion. That's probably good enough. Now May's dead as well. Oh, look, here's Mercy. We want Mercy dead. Oh, she flew away. Half her team is dead. Like, she's gonna have issues. Junkrat, we're gonna start bullying this boy. Just fly in on him. Just, like, float in on this boy. And, like, burst him. Burst him hard. Don't be afraid. Like, as long as you execute just okay, you'll still kill him. Like, you have to fuck up to die to Junkrat in that situation. And that, you know, people get psyched out. They're like, what if I fuck up?
You ready?
Just do it enough times and you won't fuck it up. It's just, it's how it is. Yeah, you know, it's a pretty standard procedure. Wow, he feels baited by that one, doesn't he? Ho ho. She probably killed, Mercy as well, didn't she? Because where's Mercy? Oh no, is Mercy behind the truck? And still got hit anyway? Like, where is Mercy? He also didn't move through it enough. Oh no, Mercy's back over here. Alright, no, so she didn't kill Mercy as well. He didn't move through it enough anyway, but you know he's like, Orisa! Why'd you do that? It's the street face. Like,
let's go.
We're gonna win. We have to, it has to go pretty badly to not be able to capture the street phase. No one's on the payload. Go back to the payload. There we go. Just go back to the payload. Nobody's... Actually, they were on it. I guess it was getting contested. Really? That's surprising. No. Stop. We can't. The play of the game. I don't care about Jonas. God damn it. Alright, so now we're going to look at the other two questions. So, number one, I would like to know how much, there are two games in this email, so that's why it references games, by the way, but we will do the other game another time, because this game is quite long. I would like to know how big of an impact I made on the games. Did I get carried? Based off this one, no, I don't think you got carried. Could you have done better? Yeah, obviously, no one's gonna have a perfect game, but I don't think you got carried. No. Did I do my job, or I wasn't focused? At times, yes, but at times, no. And there were times you could have done your job better, because there are times where you seem to know roughly what you should be doing, because you're harassing, like, the Junkrat, who is one of the people you're concerned with, and the D.Va, but you're kind of, like, apprehensive to, like, really commit to it. Like, D.Va's an aggressive tank. You gotta just, like, go in and commit to it. So, like, yeah, you did your job at points and then not at times as well, but when you were doing your job, you could have executed it better in most situations by just, like, being more decisive in it. And this is the thing with playing tanks as well. You have to play very decisively, because tanks are the ones that have to take the initiative, right? Like, if you're sitting behind your Reinhardt at Hanamura's gate, but the Reinhardt never makes any attempt to walk through the gate, you're never gonna make any progress. Like, you as the tank have to play very decisively. And if you're playing someone like D.Va, it helps to, like, just push tab and look at the enemy team and be like, alright, who should I be focusing? Who am I good at bullying around? And then you should be trying to bully that person around. Same if you're playing Winston. You need to know who you're trying to target and then how to get to that person. So, yeah, at times, could have done it better, and then other times, not so focused as well. Very wishy-washy answers, I know, but suffice to say, no, I don't think you got carried. And yes, you did your job, but not as well as you could have. And you weren't always focused on it. And we talked about it at great length, so I will not belabor these points anymore. And I know there's another game in this email. This game was mad long. We'll do it later. I have a very big backlog of games right now, so apologies if it takes a while to get to the other game, but it was, like, hold on for 1 sec. Let me just count real quick how many emails I got this month alone. I got, in just March, at time of speaking, it's March 16th. I currently have 22 emails. And some of them have more than one game in them as well. So my backlog is currently very, very big. So apologies if it takes a while to get to the second game, because I prefer to prioritize people who have never had their game reviewed rather than, like, the second game for another person. Just also, in general, like, this email was, like, 12 days old right now. Fuck, I lost it. Yes, this email is 12 days old, so this has already taken a while to get to. So, if you sent it, if you send it on March 14th, like this boy, you'll be waiting a while to see that one, just so you know. Apologies. This is very big right now. Very big backlog. Now, don't stop sending them, though. Do keep sending games, though. But apologies if it takes a while to get to them. It's very big right now. That's what she said. Giggity. So thank you very much for watching. If you did, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't join our Discord, and you can ask questions more directly and have, like, a conversation about them. And I hope you found the video helpful.